All right, guys, welcome back to another video. We're taking a look at the top 25 vintage card sales on eBay for baseball, June 2025. Let's take a look at it. First, rules for vintage 1980 or earlier, no duplicates, graded and raw are okay. Now, let's take a look at our first sale. This is going to be a 1952 Tom Morgan card, 331 in a 8.5 grade. This copy over here is sold for $9,470. You're going to see a lot of 52 tops on the list this time around. Additionally, a lot of people think 52 tops is the first set of baseball cards from Tops. That's a lie because they produce cards in 51. Also, they had other cards in the 40s. If you think about some of the releases from 1948 and 49, although they weren't primarily baseball releases. All right, let's keep moving forward. We have a 1933 Gowdy Lou Gehrig in a 4. This copy over here sold for $94.95. In the 23 spot, we have a 1954 Willie Mays graded in an 8. Pretty nice looking card, even though it is an old cert. Also for $9,500, we have a 1958 Mantle in a PSA 8. Now, personally, I'd rather have the 54 Mays over the 58 Mantle, but this is where the market is at. This was sold by Probstein. And up next, another 1952 Tops, this time of Carl Drews in a PSA 9, $9,600. All right, we have a 1968 O-Pee-Chee Kuzman Nolan Ryan in S7, one of the tougher Nolan Ryan rookie cards to find. This copy sold for $10,188. 1939 Play Ball Ted Williams. He has 3 different Play Ball cards. Only 2 of them are designated on slabs. This one over here sold for $11,500. Number 18, we have a T206 Red Cobb, one of his 4 cards within the T206 set, not including backs. This copy over here sold for $12,100. Another 1952 Tops in a high grade, this time of Warren Hacker, card number 324 in a PSA 9, $12,188. Up in number 16 spot, we have a 1969 Tops Nolan Ryan card, 533 in a PSA 9. His first solo card, this over here, sold for $12,701. Number 15, we have a Red Heart Dog Food of Mickey Mantle in a SGC 9. This sold for $13,606. While that may seem really cheap, there are rumors that these cards were continued to be sent out way past 1954. And these are easier to get in higher grades than some of the Tops or Bowman counterparts within the early 1950s. In the number 14 spot, we have another 1950s Mickey Mantle, this time at 56. So we have a gray back on this. You could either find this in a gray or a white back. This gray back 8 sold for $13,901. Number 13, we have a 1933 Gowdy Babe Ruth in A3. I believe this was double printed in the set. I do like this design the best out of the 4 Gowdy Ruths, and this sold for $14,500. Number 12, Bobby Schultz, 1952 Tops, card 401, super old cert on this one, $15,100 on this copy. Number 11, we have a 1951 Mantle. Looks like there's some condition issues here on his face. Not sure that would get a 4 today, just based off of the face and the corners. This sold for $15,100. Like always, we're going to jump into a few honorable mentions before we jump into our top 10. So let's take a look at those. Up first, we have a 1952 Tops Jackie Robinson in an SGC 4. This copy over here sold for $9,350. Then we have this one that's pretty cool, 1955 Tops Doubleheader. I don't know how many of these are signed by Hank Aaron. And this one was graded at 3.5 with a 10 autograph. It sold for $8,495. Up next, we have a John Ward from Allen and Ginter. A set I really like. We don't feature enough Allen Ginter stuff here on the channel, at least from this series, because the sales are infrequent, right, to make this dollar threshold. This copy over here sold for $7,840. I shouldn't say super infrequent. Maybe on eBay they do sell at auction houses, and when I used to do all those auction house videos, we'd cover it. Although those auction house videos will happen again, I promise you. But I think these are the last of the honorable mentions. So now we're going to jump into our top 10. We're going to start off with a 1955 Clemente in a 7.5 grade. This one looks actually pretty sharp for the 7.5. It sold for $15,600. In the number 9 spot, we have a 1949 Leaf Ted Williams. This is an authentic, although the card would probably be graded a 1.5 due to the creases. The quarters actually don't look too bad, and the presentation looks pretty nice on this. Nice large autograph here at the bottom. I don't know where I'd want the card to be signed. Maybe, and I'll show my mouse, like maybe like horizontal like that, and still have this advertisement down over here. But it's actually not a terrible placement in my opinion. But I really like this card. Probably my favorite so far of the week, or I should say of the month that have sold. Number 8 is a Tom Seaver rookie card in a 9. For some reason, I still think these are pretty undervalued. Seaver just doesn't get a ton of love in the hobby. A lot of pitchers really don't. This era is kind of overshadowed by Nolan Ryan. Two legendary pitchers that both played on the Mets, although Nolan Ryan's not as famous for the Mets, unlike how much Tom Seaver is. But this is a high number in the 67 set, and a lot of people want this card still. Number 7 is a 1953 Jackie Robinson in a SGC 8. These are really tough cards to get in high grades because these bottoms, they chip so easily. To find it in this condition is really, really nice. And that's why it fetches the $20,000 price point, also being Jackie. Number 6, 1975 Topps George Brett in a BVG 9.5. Again, one of those cards that are pretty tough just because of the colored borders on it. And I always like the 75s. It's one of my favorite sets. I want to say Heritage is making the 75s this year, if I remember correctly, or it was last year. I don't stay up to date as much on the modern side of things. All right, we have another 1949 Leaf. We have Jackie Robinson, this time in a 3. This one over here captured a total of $25,000. In the number 4 spot, we have a 1951 Bowman Mays. This is in 8 OC. You can see it is quite OC left to right, but it is wicked sharp corners. $26,000 on the sale. Number 3 is a 1950 Bowman Jackie and an 8. This sold for $27,500. I still feel it's easier to get a 50 Bowman than a 53 Topps, but I don't have the pop reports up. It'd be kind of interesting to see what the difference would be between the two. In the number 2 spot, we have a 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle. Very generous 2.5 based off of that crease on that side of things. And this sold for $60,100. By the way, this isn't me saying it's a rookie card. I just scrapped the titles and pasted them in over here. So this is not a rookie card by any means. And it's crazy that people still say it is. Let's jump into our top sale, which is going to be a 1949 Leaf of Satchel Paige in a 5. $81,259. Definitely want this card, but I can't afford it. I will never be able to afford a card like this. Really awesome card. And I won't even say like ones are in here from like $10,000 to $20,000 based off of the eye appeal on it. So I'm not dropping $10K on a card. But regardless, a legendary pitcher and one of the best cards in the late 1940s. That is it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel. The format of these are going to be changing pretty soon, so I'm super excited when that will happen. But we'll let you know on that side of things. And if you go to the National, let me know. Would love to meet up with some of the people from the channel. We're going to do a vintage non-sports meetup on Thursday night, but happy to meet anyone else at the show. Anyways, see you guys in another video.